Maybe the travel industry question I get asked most often is, who gets it right? It sounds like such a simple question to ask. I wish it was easy to answer. I'm going to give it a try. I'm Doug Lansky, and this is Rethinking Tourism. For starters, who is the who in who gets it right? I think they mean which destination gets it right. But is that a city, a state, a region, or a country? Do they mean which DMO gets it right? Or are we talking about a destination where the major stakeholders are getting it right? Obviously, the more you break it down, the easier it gets. I can name an attraction or hotel that seems to be getting it right, at least from the outside. They don't exactly walk up and hand a folder with their financials to any consultants who happen to be wandering by. And the second part of that is even more difficult. When they say who gets it right, what's right? For example, what if a destination grows by 20%? I mean, that's amazing growth, but are they getting it right? I mean, that sort of growth isn't remotely sustainable. And they're likely having huge growing pains to cope with all those additional visitors, staff hiring and training issues, room shortages, complaints. There's probably a long list. But let's stick with that generic view of right for a moment. What if they're doing it all right, but tourism represents 50% or more of their GDP? Not such a great idea. Tourism has grown steadily up over the years, and people love to draw a smooth line up. But if you look back, the reality is that the growth line looks more like an EKG of an aging couch potato with a heart condition and high cholesterol. And many stakeholders went out of business during those dips. Look, tourism is a fickle industry. All it takes is one volcano in Iceland, one terror attack, one hurricane, one heat wave, one earthquake, one flood, one airline strike, one downturn in the economy of a target market, one increase in aviation fuel, one major virus. And it can be a rough smackdown. And generally, when it comes to a diversified portfolio for anyone's personal wealth, about 10% is as much as most money managers say they want you to put into a single stock or industry. So for any nation, that should probably be the case with most industries, especially with one as fickle as tourism. Okay, it's pretty easy to break down. If you don't want tourism to be more than 10% of your GDP, and you know the rough size of your GDP, and you know the average visitor spending, you can figure out how many visitors that should be in 2 minutes with a calculator and third grade math skills. Then you want to make sure your infrastructure can handle that many visitors. It's not just the hotels and short-term rentals, but the walking streets and beaches and top attractions. Now, it's going to be a rough guess, but you can get some consultants to help, and you can always raise the number if you need to. Lowering the number of visitors is a little trickier. Keep in mind, over-tourism is a bit like cancer. Either you have it or you don't. If you have a little melanoma on your arm, you have cancer. You don't need to have it in every cell of your body to say you have cancer. And that's where many places get it wrong. They think, oh, we only have overcrowding in the summer months at our top attractions. Yeah, that's still over-tourism. In fact, it might even be that 50% of your total annual visitors are waiting in those summer lines or bumping into each other on those crowded streets. Next, what if they get all the business stuff right, but it's not sustainable? That there's no real eco-hotels or net zero hotels in the destination. Many are still pumping sewage into the ocean or nearby river. Is that getting it right? How much sustainability should factor into getting it right? Or what if the tourism is 10% of GDP? There's no overcrowding. They get the sustainability right, but nearly half the tourism money never even enters into the local economy. Instead, most of it's going to foreign Airbnb owners, Airbnb headquarters, Booking.com, international hotels, chain restaurants, and the like. Is that getting it right? I mean, isn't the point of calling it a local tourism industry to make money for the local economy? And what if one destination gets more visitors with a clever marketing campaign, but they're paying a fortune in marketing and subsidizing landing fees for the airlines to bring in all those visitors, while another helped create a unique and Instagram-friendly new attraction that brought in visitors without having to spend anything on marketing for the foreseeable future? I mean, the M in DMO is generally for marketing, but are we saying that management and attraction creation is more important? And that is why it's such a tricky question to answer. And also why I think DMOs need to redefine what success means in tourism. I mean, up until now, success has been defined by metrics like visitor growth or hotel occupancy, but those just aren't great or even sustainable KPIs. It's so much more than just more visitors. It's how much money stays in the local economy, the visitor experience, the local life quality, the environmental and cultural impact of tourism. For a destination to truly get it right, they need a great definition of success with some or all of these metrics, and then a path to achieve it and measure it. Okay, now there are thousands of destinations out there. If anyone knows of one that's doing this stuff, please get in touch and let me know. If you haven't already, Please subscribe to this channel to get commentary on all the latest travel news.